Joining us now, Aishwarya Mahadev, the spokesperson of the Congress. We are also joined by Karuna Gopal. She's the BJP leader, national in charge of policy and the research wing of the BJP's women's wing. Thank you both very much for being with us. Aishwarya ji, let me come to you first. What is the intention of the Congress party in the state assembly? Do you intend to continue with these protests until Mr. Eshwarappa is removed? Because there don't appear to be any signs that he's going anywhere.
Good evening, Vishnu. I think first and foremost that the Congress party is not going to budge on this issue, because since the BJP came to power in this state after toppling the coalition government, that they have basically created an atmosphere of absolute communal tension and strife, one. And second, their disrespect of the secular fabric of this country is very evident, whether it is the protests or even, this entire argument over the hijab. And I was listening to that minister, Mr. Ashwath Narayan, was absolutely shameful that any man that holds a cabinet post should be talking like that, especially antithetical to the constitution. But Vishnu, the fact remains that the impunity in which the BJP is going ahead with disrespecting national symbols, the constitution and what our country stands for, they have obviously gone too far. But Vishnu, the singular fact is this is not an isolated incident. From Anant Kumar Hegde saying we'll throw out the constitution to saying the children of the constitution or those who believe in the constitution are dogs, you have seen where the BJP flag has been flown over the tricolour. We've seen several instances. But this came off the back of something very dangerous, Vishnu, and this is the context. In Shimoga, you saw in the back of these protests with students that you saw somebody climbing up a flagpole and putting up the saffron flag over the tricolour. And from that stemmed Mr. Eshwarappa's statement saying, who knows, someday the ramparts of the Red Fort may end up having a saffron flag. And whether it's the flag code or whether it's, dishonor against any of these national symbols, the fact that he would say that, the fact that he would go into a session, right, the Vidhan Sabha, and say that is extremely disgusting.
Okay, all right, okay. Aishwarya, one second. Let me get Karuna Gopal to respond to that. Ma'am, why would Mr. Eshwarappa make those remarks if it wasn't meant to instigate at a time when a very sensitive hearing is happening? Ma'am, you're on mute. Can you just unmute yourself?
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
So first of all, let me answer the Congress spokesperson. Do you recall, I don't understand the outrage of Congress today. The very same Congress that remained tone deaf, the very same Congress that stoically maintained silence when the protesting farmers tried to hoist their sacred flag at the Red Fort. And just very recently, Congress never uttered a word when Mamata Banerjee violated the code of national anthem. Why is this outrage? It's categorically and very clearly, it's to do with what Congress historically has done to create some problem, especially very close to the elections. The BBMP elections are around the corner, and the assembly elections are also pretty close. So obviously they have to hit BJP in two areas. The first area is they want to somehow kick up this communal aspect, No,
but Karuna, I understand that, but you've not really answered my question. Why would Mr. Eshwarappa make these remarks in the first place about, a flag which is, any flag other than our national flag? Is that what you want? Would you like to see a saffron flag, ma'am, instead of our Tiranga? I mean, as a member of the BJP yourself?
No, absolutely not. And this has been clarified by the Chief Minister. It's been
so why not take more action against it?
No, it is, several times they pick up things that have been said and they are inflated. They are put under the magnifying glass. And that is exactly what has happened in Congress. Congress, knowing that it's on a very shaky ground, and Siddaramaiah demanding...
All right. Okay, ma'am, Aishwarya wants to respond. I'm trying to give you all equal time. Aishwarya, go ahead. Yes.
Vishnu, for one thing, nothing is taken out of context. I'm a Kannadiga. I speak the language. I have heard exactly what Mr. Eshwarappa has said. Mr. Bommai has not even come and condemned the statement. Nobody in the BJP has condemned it. They basically said he's talking about a future incident, one. Second thing is, if the Congress wanted to make an issue out of something, the fact that you have a 40% commission government running where the contractors themselves are talking about it is a big enough issue. Ma'am, the singular fact remains that the BJP obviously creates its power base of this us versus them narrative. Mr. Eshwarappa saying this is flaring up communal tensions. Yes, go look at this school incident also. Who started it? Which MLA of yours was the one that supplied the saffron turbans and shawls and got students lathi charged also? Vishnu, the singular fact remains that the Congress is not going to allow the BJP to do this. My leader, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, Mr. Siddaramaiah are sitting in session even now. The Youth Congress is protesting outside their house. And this is a serious case of sedition. This is a serious case of disrespect to national symbols. And Ms. Karuna Gopal can use all the research she has to give us the context of history. But please talk about the state and tell me why your minister would make a statement like this, one. And two, why is it that nobody has condemned him? They all come out on your channels, obviously to be...
But Aishwarya, they've not condemned it, but they've said that they don't stand by those remarks.
Has not, no. They
have said that it is the national flag first, not the saffron flag.
It was a possibility. It is a possibility of maybe in the future. They have not apologized. They have not taken action against him. This is the impunity of the BJP.
All right.
That's why we want them to take action.
Karuna Gopal, go ahead. Yes,
yeah. Vishnu, I'd like to just draw your attention to two things. You know, when Congress openly talks about what the BJP is doing and how BJP is behaving, maybe perhaps it's time to really introspect and see what they have been doing. The first of all, as I said, the two things that they can attack BJP on. One is they can categorically talk about the communal side of BJP, and therefore the hijab thing has gone, blown out. It's gone over the roof. The second thing is about the hyper-nationalism of BJP. And in what way can they, trash it? They can trash it by making this small little thing and showcasing to the world that...
A small little thing?
And, proving that they're not even nationalists. So they have inflated that, they have magnified it, they have made it into a big hyperbole. And Congress is known for that. I'll give you one example, Vishnu, please listen to this. Now, Siddaramaiah, who's been actually pressing for sedition charges, has made very global statements. He has made, very blanket statements like BJP disrespects the flag, BJP doesn't abide by the constitution, etc. Not only that, he made preposterous statements like BJP supports PFI and BJP supports SDPI. This is completely hilarious for the simple reason that it was during Siddaramaiah's time that SDPI and PFI got a foothold in Karnataka and spread enormously there. So we have every reason to discount what Siddaramaiah says, and this is absolutely political. They have taken the occasion, they have jumped. Now today taking the flags and going into the well. How respectful is that? So
that was the point that I think which they were trying to make. But look, it is it's important that there has been some sort of a clarification that that's not what the BJP stands for. But perhaps an utter condemnation of this hasn't taken place at all. I'm out of time. I'd like to thank you both very much for being with us. This remains a burning political issue in Karnataka, perhaps outside Karnataka as well. Lots of comments coming in, some on coup. Navdeep says, isn't it disrespectful to our nation, the remarks which were made on a saffron flag versus our national flag. Niti Sharma says Eshwarappa should resign for saying we will host a saffron flag at the Red Fort.